Hello, welcome back to our set channel. And as I will always say, as a way of disclaimer, I am not an immigration officer, nor immigration lawyer, or a travel consultant. I am just an individual trying to help my community, support people through their journey or their plans to travel to a country of their choice or than their country. So today you will see me really bending or trying to read because I want to give you the undiluted information about this trending topic, asylum. So I've been seeing a lot of people talking about how cheap it is to get to Canada through seeking asylum without educating people on how to go about it or the stress that is associated with it. So I decided to do this video just to clear the hair for some people, because some of my followers has always have always been also been asking me, they've been asking me if they can come to Canada through the asylum route. Okay, so you want to know what you are getting into before you get into it. So first, what is asylum or refugee? What does it mean when people say I want to seek refugee? I want to come to a country other than my country to seek asylum. What does it mean? So according to the definition I have here, I will be reading because I don't want to miss word. I don't want to misguide you. I don't want to mislead you. So everything I got here were from, they are from the IRCC website and some information that I got from people who have gone through the process of asylum here in Canada. Okay. So under the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act, a person in need of protection is a person in Canada who would be subjected to a danger of torture, a risk to their life, or a risk of cruel and unusual treatment or punishment if they were returned to their home excuse me, country of originality. So again, I'm going to read. Under the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act, a person in need of protection is a person in Canada who would be subjected to a danger of torture, a risk to their life, or a risk of cruel and unusual treatment or punishment if they were returned to their home country. So home country will be your home country. If this is your case, you can apply for asylum in Canada. And if you are granted, you will receive a refugee status and the right to stay in Canada. So you know that seeking asylum is not a wrong thing in itself. Coming into a country to seek refugee is not a wrong thing in itself. It has been an ongoing thing, and people have come into countries to seek for safety. So this is not the beginning. It has been an ongoing thing. I'll let you know that by the right to seek asylum from persecution is an international human right. So it is recognized internationally. It is an international human right, and it is guaranteed by the 1951 Convention relating to the status of refugees. So since 1951, so it is not new. It's not a new thing. It's not a bad thing. But what I just want you to know is I want you to be fully informed. I want you to be knowledgeable before you go into it. Like they will say, look before you leap. Okay. So according to this constitution, a refugee is a person who is outside his or her own country and who has a well-founded well-founded fear of being persecuted for the following reasons. So this constitution has been on since 1951, And this constitution is well recognized. It is your human right to flee from danger. It is your human right to seek refuge where you think you can get it. But the thing I'm going to be talking about is, please, when you get into claiming this human right, you want to do it the right way so that you won't get back to the same reason or the same place where you are flying from. Okay, so we have different reasons why people claim refugee. Number one of it is their nationality. There are some people uh, who come from certain national countries, and they go to some other countries and they face persecution. They face persecution for different reasons, and they are being asked to leave that country, and they are being tortured for some reasons. Or maybe in your own country, some part of the countries some part of the country where you come from might not be favorable to you for some reasons. So you will have the right to flee from your country to seek refuge, or from another country where you are residing at this moment. If you think you are at risk, or you are being tortured, or you are being marginalized for any reason, then you can also seek for refuge. You can flee that country for safety. Then race, maybe you are in your own country of originality. Your race is being like streamlined. Your race is marginalized. Like, maybe by when you say race, that covers ethnic group, your tribe, and you are being targeted for reason in your for some reasons in your country. Some certain tribes, you cannot go to some certain area. Like, I can say, like, in Nigeria now, I can talk about Nigeria because I'm from Nigeria originally. So in Nigeria, there are these sect of people that call themselves Boko Harams. The Boko Haram, they just kind of try to want to make everybody who is not from their tribe. They kind of kill them, and just kind of they just brutalize people. So if you live in the region where Boko Harams are kind of highly populated, and you think you are being threatened for your tribe and all those things, yeah, you can flee to a country where you can get safety. Another reason is on religion ground. you know People can seek asylum on religion ground. Again, when we say religion ground, some countries, they believe in certain religion. And if an individual want to practice something other than that which they believe, they can start persecuting that person. Not maybe not even a country, a set of people, like your community, or even some family members. There are some group of religious people, or some religion, that if that family belongs to that religion, and you as an individual now say, oh, now come back to say, I've renounced this religion, I've seen a better religion, and I want to practice that. I don't want to practice this religion that is being practiced by my family anymore. Oh my God, you might be persecuted. You might become an object of persecution. Your life might be in danger. And if you can flee from that family, you can flee from that community, you can flee from that country to a place where you think you can find refuge, then you are eligible to do that. Okay. Another reason is for social group. So when we talk about social group, this is one of the longest. The queue is the list is unlimited, but I just have like a few here. When you talk about social group, that's discrimination on the group of minority. You might just be a minority among a social group, or maybe your family belong to a group. Maybe you have some people's family, they are known for certain things, and because of that, they've always consistently faced persecution based on their social relationship with either the government or the state, or the community they belong to. And because that family is being targeted, every person that comes from that family tree faces that persecution. So if you unfortunately belong to that kind of a family and you think your life is at stake, then you are very, very okay to flee. Sexual orientation, in some part of the world, some people don't believe in some certain sexual orientation. Maybe somebody say I'm a lesbian, somebody say I'm a gay, somebody say I'm bisexual, and all those stuff. And if you declare who you are, you might also face become an object of persecution. And if you belong to that group and you can prove it, then you are an object. You have a ground to flee from your country of originality, and then seek an asylum where you think you can get protection. Some women subject to domestic violence can also flee. When we say domestic violence, it has to be like real domestic violence. Like, it's not like there's no such thing as which one that is real and one that is not real. What I'm trying to say is that the intensity may have been so high. You have reported to the human rights in your country, they were not able to help you. You have gone to the police station, they were not able to help you. You have gone everywhere, and this you are a victim, and your persecutor is coming after you everywhere, and it might cost you your life. Then if you have a way to flee, you are very authentic, you have authentic ground to flee from such thing. And I haven't talked about women. Sometimes men also face persecution. Men also face violence. Men also are like beating. Maybe some people will say, beating by who? The women. Some women can beat their men. Some women can also some men can become subject or object of violence, domestic violence from their wives, or even not from their wives. Sometimes depends on your country of originality. There are some men, some women, when they marry a certain man, then they leave that man for maybe more influential man, and the present husband will just not want to use eyes to see the ex-husband of this wife that is now married to a more influential man. So that man may begin to suffer in the hands of the new husband to the ex-wife. So if you are facing that, don't say, oh, I'm a man, I'm not going to flee for my life. Please flee from your life, for your life. Look for refuge, seek refuge in a place that can save you from the hand and the cruelty of that your ex-wife and the present husband. Okay. So another group of people that belong to this social group, children of police officers who are anti terrorist supporter. So if you are a police officer and you have a set of people that are terrorizing a country or terrorizing a community, and you took your work so fervent, and you want to do it diligently, and you without fear or favor, you went ahead and you disclosed the hideout of these terrorists. You are anti-terrorist, and they're going to probably come after you. And if they cannot get you, they might want to get your children. So the children of such officers who is loyal and able to work fervently to prevent other citizens can become a victim of terrorists. And so if you belong to that group and you have a way to flee from that country, you are very much welcome to fly from that country. Single women without male protection in their countries. Single women without male protection. And this group will fall into maybe a widow. Some family can be very insensitive. A woman lost her husband and she's grieving, and what some of these family members are looking after, they are looking out for, is how to collect this man's property and chase the children and the wife out of the man's property. They are not even bothered about their brother that passed. They just want to drive this woman out. And some culture will say, oh, I want to marry you as my wife. And if you don't comply to that barbaric culture of marrying your brother's wife, your late husband's brother, then they might just ask you to leave the family and you miss everything and you start suffering. So if you fall into that category and you have a means to flee from that torture with your children, you will be eligible on that grant. Okay. Another one is abandoned children. Abandoned children. Some abandoned children, if you were abandoned and you've been going through a lot and you have a means to flee from the present torture you are going through, you can flee from it. Other set of people, they are employee of very influential people. There are some very influential people in the society, and they've done all havocs, they've committed all havocs, and then they have people who worked with them before, and those people have access to their secret, and because of their insecurity, this person worked with me and this person know my secret, and now this person does not work with me anymore. I am scared this person is going to reveal my secret to the world, and then I'll be done. So they want to come after that person, even though the person naturally wouldn't want to do that, but because of their insecurity, they chase and they come after that person. So if you fall into that category, you are into that social group set, then you can also seek asylum in a country that can protect you. So another thing is on political ground. Some people, their political opinion can be very opposing to the power, the present government of the day. So once you become like for example, if you are a journalist and you are always telling the truth, telling the government what they should do, what they ought to do, what they are doing right and what they are not doing right, and you become an obvious antagonist, so to say, or you tell the truth to the government and they don't want that. Most government don't want the truth. So once you tell the truth to them, you become an object of persecution, and if care is not taken, most of these journalists, they kill them. So if you fall into that group and you have a means to run, please run for your life, and do not forget to take your children and your spouse with you as you run, because if they can't find you, to find your spouse. So that's that about the 5 grounds. I've just spoken about the 5 grounds of how you can um, how you can be eligible to seek asylum. Those are the 5 grounds on how you can seek asylum. So having said that, they you seeking asylum on those grants, even if you qualify, I want to say that even if you qualify for all those things, it might not still be a guarantee that you will get approved for your claim. You'll be you, sh- you the it's quite a process, and you should be able to satisfy the immigration officer that you meet the need and the criteria. So you should be able to show the burden of proof. That is, ability to give a clear and convincing story or documentary proof of your claims. Anybody can come to Canadian border, to the Canada border, and say, oh, this, they can cook up stories. So you want to really be able to prove beyond reasonable doubt that all these things that you are claiming, they actually happened, and they have to be documented. People will just say, if you just get to Canada, just go Canada. Once you get to the border, just raise your hand and say this and say that. No, it's not as easy as that. You have to be prepared. If you are coming to seek asylum, you have to be prepared. You have to know the nitty-gritty of it, the in and out, what you need to know, what is expected of you, and the questions that you'll be asked. So another thing you have to put in consideration is, do you have other choice other than Canada? Why is Canada your first choice of place to come to? And for example, are you a citizen of another country? If you are a citizen of another country Have you sought protection from them before coming to Canada? And if no, then you might have a problem. That might be your first point of call. You want to check out with the second country. Maybe if you are a dual citizen, you're a citizen of Nigeria, you're a UK citizen, you want to try UK first, right? Or you are a citizen, you are a Ghanaian citizen and you are a Nigerian citizen. You want to try out Ghana first before you start flying to Canada. If you seek asylum for the wrong reasons, you'll be deported. Like the wrong reasons. Some people will just come and say, I came here as a visitor before, so because I don't want to go back to my country again, my government is useless, my government, there's no security in my country, the stress in my country is too much. All those are not grounds on which you can claim refugee. So you need to know what you are coming in for, and you need to know the evidences that you have to provide before they can say, oh, of a truth, this person is eligible. Okay? If your story was true and you don't have evidence, you'll be deported. Even though your story is true, everything you said, you went through them and you're still going through them, you barely escaped, and you don't have evidence, you'll be deported, and that will just take you back to point zero. So before you embark on this journey, please, you need to know. You need to be able to gather your facts and figures, so that once you get into and once you get to the port of entry, you have a meeting with the immigration, they refer you to the IROBD, you will just be like, oh, free to get into Canada. Okay? The process, you will be interrogated. See, once you get to the port of entry and do this, I surrender, and you tell them your story, they will not just give you paper like some people are saying. If you just get to the port of entry, just put your hands up and say you are seeking asylum, you are running from danger, and they will just give you paper. Lie. That's not the way it works. So you'll be interrogated. That's the process. You'll be interrogated by the officers, the immigration officers at the port of entry. Immediately you raise your hand, they'll pull you aside. They notice you, they'll pull you aside, and they'll start interrogating you. And remember, most of these immigration officers, they are trained psychologists. They are trained psychologists. As they are interrogating you, they are observing you psychologically. They are trying to read what you are saying. They are reading in between your mind. They are reading in between the line to see what you are saying. And after they've assessed you and they see that, oh, maybe there's an element of truth an element of truth in what this person is saying, then they will now give you a claimant form. So a claimant form is the form that the immigration officer will give to you to say, hey, okay, you want to claim refugee, take this form and fill this form to tell us exactly what you've told us before. And remember, anything you pen down becomes a legal document. Anything you pen down, whatsoever you fill in that form, is going to be a legal document. So you have to be very careful. Whatsoever you said that time stands forever. You must complete this form within 15 days. So if you come through the port of entry, when you are just coming at the port of entry, you declare your asylum, the form that they will give to you, you must fill that form within 15 days and return to the immigration officer. And if you do it, if you do it like inside Canada, like you didn't declare at the port of entry, you came into Canada and you declared after you've got into Canada, inside Canada, then you have 21 days to return that form. And that brings me to, how can you apply? You can apply for claim for refugee at the port of entry where you declared. You can apply at seaport, and you can also apply online once you have entered into Canada. So if your case, story, or document are assessed to be legit by immigration officers, your case will be transferred to the IRB department. IRB just mean Immigration and Refugee Board department, right? So they will now refer you to that place. And once they refer you to that place, they will do a background checks. They will do background check. Whatsoever you told them, they are not just going to take your word for it. They are going to do a background check. And please, whatsoever you say, let your story remain. Let your story remain. What you said today must be what you are saying tomorrow. And what you say tomorrow is what you will say forever. Please do not change stories. Do not change stories. Do not tell Officer A, my mother was coming. And so I did something and my mother is not chasing me. And then after that, you now tell them it was your father that was coming. Omo, you are just killing yourself. The story you told from the onset is the story that you will end with. I've heard people, they will tell a story, then they get to the refugee camps and people will now tell them, you didn't tell that story very well. You have to go and say it. And they will go and they will try to fine-tune the story. That you are just killing yourself. If you've made a mistake once, just stick with that mistake. If you will be granted, you'll be granted. If you won't be granted, that's not going to even help issues. It's just going to make it worse for you. Okay? So then once everything is now being done, you will now be scheduled for hearing. You go court too. Yeah, you will go to court. It's a process. You will go to court. And most times, what happens is once you get to this level, they will give you a humanitarian court, wherever they call them. Like this, you are not going to pay. The board will stand for you. They will bring a lawyer to stand for you to defend your case. And you must work with this lawyer to give the lawyer all the information, the evidences, because the lawyer is going to make all these evidences and present them to the judge. So once they say evidence A, evidence B, evidence C, everything will be with the judge. So you're going to stand before the judge, and just know that sometimes this process can be protracted. That means it can be a lengthy time. You can go to court like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times before the decision is reached. And once you go to court, what you say should be what you said before is what you should continue to say. Do not change words. Do not change your stories. Do not say black today, tomorrow you say red, next tomorrow you say yellow. You just be ending your case gradually. Okay? So having said that, somebody once asked me what's the advantage of declaring asylum at the port of entry, and what is the disadvantage. So the advantage of seeking asylum, declaring asylum at the port of entry, is that immediately you declare asylum at the port of entry, if you are granted, the immigration officers that interrogated you, they thought your story was urgent enough for them to give you the claimant form. Right there and then, you get your work permit and you start working. Immediately you get to Canada. But the downside is this: if the immigration officer does not think your story is deemed fit for you to claim asylum, then the next thing they do, they will deport you straight away. Straight deportation. So that is why sometimes people don't declare at the port of entry. They get into Canada first, and once they get there, they can now apply online. The advantage of this is that you won't be deported immediately. So they will hear your case, they will do your hearing, they will reach your decision, and while all these are going on, you yourself, you are doing what you have to do. So that is the online advantage. You won't be deported immediately, as against when you declare at the port of entry, the immigration officer is the person that decides. But once You declare inside. After they've interrogated you, you have opportunity for your case to be reviewed by the IRB department. And once your case is reviewed by IRB department, if they see that it is not true or they deny you, you can reappeal. So you are counting time, you are marking time inside Canada. Whereas if you did it at the if you do it at the port of entry, you don't have those chances. You might just be deported. So I don't know if this has helped anybody. I just thought I should put it up here because I have seen a lot of people telling people on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok that the easiest way to get into Canada is through refugee. The easiest way to get into Canada is through asylum. If you just get to the port of entry, just raise your hand. And once you raise your hand, the next is history. You get your paper and you become the government property. Omo, it is not as easy as that. I have seen people who came in as refugee, and they've been here for 5 solid years, some 10 years, and their cases have not been decided. So you want to ask yourself, does my story fit into this group? And remember, the fact that your story fits into the category of people that are eligible for seeking asylum does not guarantee that you'll be granted a stay in Canada. So you should be able to gather your proofs. Gather proofs. Oyibo doesn't believe in storytelling. They want to see. You see, when they say seeing is believing, now here the thing they happen. Seeing is believing. This is where it is, that word is real. What you see is what you believe. That's what they believe here. If you are claiming anything, show us the proof. If you can show us the proof, then we don't have any reason whatsoever to doubt you. I hope this has helped. It is not a crime to seek asylum. If I were to be in a position where my life is threatened and I have opportunity to fly from that country, to run away and keep my life safe, I will do it. But what I am saying, do not just come to the port of entry and give like cock and bull stories like, oh, my country is messed up. They'll tell you Canada is also messed up. I got a news popped up this morning of how the government is trying to control inflation of grocery, and they are trying to see how they can sort out housing problem. They are trying to see how they can fix things. So a lot of countries are messed up. So just showing up to say that my country is messed up, my husband beats me, this one, that one. No, you have to fall into those categories, and the list is endless. I just brought out those ones. The lists are endless. And please gather your documents. If you have any proof, gather them, because some people might really be going through this and they just enter road without knowing what to say. This video is for you. Please sit. I know it's quite a lengthy one, but you know what? You have to hear the truth. Use your data wisely. Seek information that will benefit your future. So at this point, I want to say once more, thank you to all my subscribers. We are growing. We are growing, and I'm praying God that before 1 year, you guys should be able to help me to make my 1,000 subscribers up and my 4,000 watch hours. I don't bill you for this. It's just my own little way of helping my community, So the only way you can help me is to subscribe, watch, subscribe, and share. Follow me. Be the first to know whenever I post any video subscribe so that anytime I put up video, it will come to you, notification button. Okay, so thank you so much. I wish you all the best. You can be whatsoever you want to be. This life is determination. Once you are determined to reach your goal, nobody can stop you. So keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Dreams can become reality. Dreams can become reality. Keep pushing, and as you dream, work towards your dream. Do not procrastinate. Do not say, I can do it I will do it tomorrow. Anything that you can do today, don't push it tomorrow, because tomorrow will have its own problem. Okay? Thank you for staying with me. I appreciate you, and I hope this will help someone make informed choice before they embark on the journey of seeking asylum. Once again, thank you so very much. It's your girl, Global Asset Channel. Ciao. Ciao. Bye.